So let me show you Bongocat, an AI integrated CMS. Basically, it's a blog that can write itself. So when you create an account, you'll set your domain name, bit of settings, click deploy. That then deploys onto its own little infrastructure system, which allows a lot of the back-end stuff to run. It takes about 5 minutes to set up and go live, and you can log in. Now, I've already set a site up and I've already got a few posts on here. This would be basically empty. But you get 2 pages to the site. You get a home page where all of your category listing page with search, and you get a post page. So every article you get has its own post page, table of contents, some sidebars. You can have up to 4 sidebars per section, and you've got your content featured in image, shared, other posts you like. Fairly standard stuff. Now let me show you the back end. When you log into the back end, you have basically a few options. So the first is to write a blog post. Now you can either write a blog post standard manual, but who wants to do that? We're going to use the generate new post button. Now I'll show you the prompt chains in a second, and targeting country, you get an option to target multiple English speaking countries, but that can be expanded out. This is using GPT-4, which has most of the Romance language support, so Spanish, French, German, stuff like that. In this case, I'm just using English because I'm an English speaker. Now, I have some, I've used ChatGPT to come up with some titles. Now, what we're going to do is we add our title of our post, and then we add a few sub-questions. Now, the reason we add sub-questions is that expands out the post. It gives it more context and detail. It makes it much more voluminous post, but it also makes it much easier to capture long tail keywords and give a bit more information and make it more interesting for readers, of course, because that's the end goal. And then click submit. Now the whole process takes a few minutes to run. What it's got is some agents running in the background. It's taken that title and it knows you want to target Australia. It's now going and doing some research. It's collating information, compiling that information and sorting it, and then it's running it through a couple of processes in the background. Now all of this runs independent of other people's sites, so it's all nicely constrained in your own system. So you can essentially stack up 20, 30 posts, go have coffee, come back, and they're all ready to edit. So while that's working, I'll show you the prompt chain. The prompt chains, I just have one single prompt chain in here at the moment, but you can have as many as you like. The idea is that you may want to do listicles, you might want to do hardware reviews, you might want to do software reviews. It doesn't really matter. Whatever the type of article you want, you would create a prompt chain that supports that article. There will be a whole library of prompt chains in here on release, but for the moment it's just got one. You select your audience, style, content guidelines, stuff like that. What it's doing is you've got your body prompt. That's what sends off on the initial post to get written, comes back, and then you've got an intro and conclusion prompt. This can take all of that content and do something secondary with it. In this case, I've got it writing meta, title. I've also got it doing an introduction and a conclusion, but it doesn't really matter. It's really up to however you want to hack it. And then you've got the summary prompt, which writes keywords for search. While that's still going, I'll show you the sidebars. So you've got the option to run as many sidebars as you want. In this case, it's the general one, and then I've just got like an image and then a link. Alternatively, I could put HTML, so iframing stuff, Google Ads, whatever, and you can have up to 4 different sidebars. Now, the part that I want to talk about for the sidebars, right, that's ready to go, is that you can create a post, and then you've got a specific sidebar specifically for that post, right? So you could have an article that's reviewing a piece of software, and then you could have an affiliate link for that piece of software in the sidebar, but only on that page. So there's a little bit of information you can add to it. So here's our content. I'm going to do a little bit of editing. Give me a second. Cool. So I've done a little bit of editing, just some, bullet points and stuff like that. Simple stuff. Now I'm going to create a featured image. This post is about investing in AI. So I'm going to say a person shoving money into a computer. That's what the image. I'm going to use Stable Diffusion. So you can use either DALL-E or you can use Stable Diffusion to create images. You could host an image, or you could just upload if you want. I'm going to hit the sidebar is general. That's the one I want. Status is going to be published, and it's going to be in the article category. Hit save. That's now generating the image, and it's starting to go off. I'll show the site settings. So you may have seen that all of the images on the front had a very specific style. We want to make sure that there's always a prompt or a specific style for the images, right? So you set your details, site details, you can put tag manager, logo, call to action on the home page, bit of stuff. But you also have an image settings prompt. Now this is where you would say, here's my color palette, here is the specific style I want of images. And every time you create an image in the system, it's always going to use that as a foundation so it knows the post, the style you want. Integrations where you add keys, and verification text is for verifications. All right, so now I'll go to the home page. And there we have it. Post is done, article is done. It took a couple of minutes and I was talking the whole way through. We have our image, we have our text, we have our information, job's done. You can put in some links, there you go. So that's Bongocat.